Thank you very much, first of all. Thank you very much, first of all, for having accepted the invitation to talk with me today. We have with me Nicola Casagli, Professor Casagli from the University of Florence in Italy, Department of Earth Science, so you are a geologist, extremely well known all over the world, so we don't have to say much more. I just start right away with a few questions. You are here today because you just taught at the University of Salerno, you just taught at the LARAM school in the morning. First question, what was the topic of your lecture? What did you teach at the school this morning?
The topic of my lecture was slope instability in urban areas, how to monitor and to manage them.
And how did you find the class? What was your impression? It's the first time you teach at the LARAM school. You are in the same second time in this LARAM school. So what do you think about this class in comparison with the other one? How was the interaction? Was there an interaction? How was the experience this morning?
The experience was extremely positive. The level of attention was very high. The students show high interest also on practical application. They also demonstrate a sound background on the methods for landslide investigation and monitoring, so I am very satisfied.
We can say that from your group, your research group, very big research group, an important research group, a lot of your former students, former PhD students, have been coming as students to the LARAM school year after year, and then you keep sending students to us, so that's a good sign. I wanted to ask you, besides, there were some students of yours also this year in your class, three of them. Not only Italians, but also
one Chinese.
It's an international group.
Not geologist, one engineer, one geologist, and one urban planner.
Taking a connection with what you just said, the class is very heterogeneous because there are engineers, geologists, some geographers, and I said urban planners, and some other expertises. Did you have any difficulty in telling what you told them or in teaching to such an heterogeneous class? Or was it, how do you value these?
I think based on my experience on previous school similar to LARAM, in which the level of students can be different, and also the environment is very international, from developing country to technologically advanced country. My teaching strategy is to make a very simple lecture, giving many examples and only few theoretical topics, and then giving links to reference in which the students can deepen the knowledge of the topic discussed in a general way and with a practical example during the lecture.
A strategy that really works for the school in general, I can say, because really our idea of the school is that many people from different backgrounds come here and they meet a lot of people like you, experts in many different fields. You cannot have a comprehensive, deep a lecture going deep into a topic, but you have to address many things. Examples, very good examples. I was there, part of your class this morning. Let's move from, a last question about LARAM school, and then we move to something else. How do you think such an experience is, in general, valuable for PhD students that are doing something very specific, almost the opposite of what we were saying, in their daily research for their particular topic?
I think PhD students need schools like this. I don't think that the usual training we do in university for PhD students, that is very transdisciplinary, in which you teach everything at a general level, can be useful for PhD, because PhD is not only high-level formation, but it's only formation for research. So the first level of research needs a direct comparison with leading researcher, with specific problems addressed in the in the current research.
Thank you for your words. Moving to something different, thinking about the research in the topics related to landslide risk assessment, mitigation, management. You are, with your group, a very big research group, large research group, you are tackling different problems, many times practical problems at different levels. What are the main areas of research currently very active in your group? I mean, there are many. Okay, you can say everything, and then that would be like the short answer for that.
Currently, our group is composed by 50 researchers
with a huge number.
Mainly focus on monitoring techniques using radar, ground-based radar and satellite radar. Then there is another important research line on the operational forecasting on landslide using rainfall models, rainfall infiltration and geotechnical slope stability models. And then we are also exploring new fields like sensor network, muonic radiography for underground exploration. We are very curious and interested to the new emerging techniques.
And your role of connecting research with practice and practical applications. So we have to mention that you are a center of competence for the civil protection national civil protection in Italy. I mean, how do you combine these two things? I mean, research, high research, top level research, and practical activities.
Yeah, for me, research is a practical application. I'm not able to do poor research. It's not my characteristic to. I'm not a poor researcher. I'm not a practical. I like practical application of idea developed in totally different context and to apply to a new problem. The experience we have with National Civil Protection, which asks support for many practical and important the emergency, landslide emergencies all over Italy, is fundamental for us because many problems that maybe are studied by me, by my researcher, and we don't find solution when civil protection emergency occur, can be solved in a very quick way.
Must be solved,
and so is stimulating and also exciting for us to do this.
Moving out of your research group and thinking about generally the research that is currently going on around the world on topics related to landslides, any major breakthrough that you can say to us according to you occurred in the past few years, in the past decades, and we really solved some problems, and on the other way, is there areas where we really have to still work a lot to go to solutions that are really helpful for the society?
In my opinion, the trend of research on landslide, but also in other context of civil engineering and geology, is there is alternation between the capacity to acquire data and to obtain good data and the capacity to process them. So in landslide I saw in the past an alternation in the power of obtaining data from new technology and the capability to process them with models, with computer models. I grew up with models because the boom of computer science at the end, in the first part of 90s, at the time numerical models was the top research. Then arrived the new sensor, the laser, the radar, and so now is the the fast acquisition of data, the frontier. I think the next step will be an improvement and more reliability of prediction models.
That's an important point, because actually, as people working in, say, research, you said never pure research, at least for your case, but research that can be applied. Forecasting is the key. Understanding what happened is difficult, but it's once you do it, if it stops there and does go into something that you can use for the future, is the use of it is very limited. Thank you for this opinion. Let's close this interview. Just maybe a very last question. Is there anything that you would suggest to our viewers as a reference, a resource, something to read, something to watch that is available out there you would recommend for people that are either into the research like us, or maybe that they don't know much about the field, they want to read something, a good book, an evergreen reference, or maybe a very new thing that appeared, and then you would suggest?
Yeah, there are so many resources now available on the web. Many resources are open access. So my suggestion for early stage research for a student attending this school, also other research interested to this topic, is to make more experience possible in different countries, comparing different experience and also different discipline. Landslide research is typically interdisciplinary. It needs geology, engineering, computer science, social science, and why not urban planning, geography, and also disciplines, history, and disciplines that can of great aid to solve practical problems.
We made a full circle. We started with the interdisciplinary class that just attended your lecture. We ended up with this suggestion.
Is very positive. I'm very happy of the class and their interest.
Thank you very much for the interview. Thanks,
Thank
Professor
you.
Casagli.
Thank you. Bye.